I wasn't sure how you were going to react to Green Girl.
I made sure that Chris knew, like when he was my editor coming with me, like I was like, yo, this girl's going to throw on like a green costume. It's going to be rad. And I was like, I'll be upset. It's funny because with Ye, I was like, I want the maskless Ye. But with you, I was like, I need the mask.
Yeah.
That's going to take that as a diss and fuck you guys for thinking that.
Fuck you, Shane, for saying that.
Yeah. And
okay.
Kanyesposts. Find God. This is the weekly recap. Keep it up with Ye.
It's a full-time job.
I feel like they don't want me. I don't think they want anyone who's giving any defense of Ye to any degree.
Well, because Ben Shapiro's pushing the narrative that he's mentally ill.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I say it in the story, but Ye's obviously upset that like he was saying, I want to help Ye. You know, Ben Shapiro's, I think I can help him. It was super condescending.
Ye made a joke to you and said, now I know what he looks like.
Yeah. And I wish I didn't. I'm not going to commit it to memory is what he said.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. And he also said he hated Jordan Peterson.
People were in the comments begging Ye to go on a Jordan Peterson podcast. Yeah. Now we know it's probably not going to happen.
No. I mean, I liked Jordan Peterson years ago. I thought he was saying like things that were interesting, and I like the way he uses language.
Is it true that Jordan Peterson's daughter is dating Andrew Tate?
I don't think so. I doubt it.
That was announced a few weeks ago, I thought.
Oh my God, no. I mean, I have no idea.
Did you cover Andrew Tate at all?
No, I don't. Almost nothing about Andrew Tate.
Okay, so you don't know if he's like Illuminati?
I don't know. I tend to think he's probably not, but it's also because I'm so skeptical of every headline now, where it's like they say something about someone, I unfortunately believe the opposite.
By the way, guys, welcome to the podcast. Are we officially rolling? So you guys missed a really good pre-show. I don't even know if we're going to have anything to talk about because we
did it all.
We said all the juicy stuff before the show could start. Like I found out so much secret stuff, and so did he.
Yeah, we'll put it in a book and sell it in like 10 years.
Yeah, hopefully like we can carry this conversation through. I'm joined today with Shane Cashman, all the way from West Virginia?
West Virginia, yeah.
Shenandoah River.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like country music?
I like old country music. I like Charlie Crockett. Is that his name? That's a new guy, but I like old Hank Williams and stuff. But
oh, really old?
Yeah. But I don't listen to country that often.
Okay. Well, you're a huge Ye fan.
I'm a big Ye fan, yeah.
So Shane wrote an article recently, and 2 articles after meeting Ye in person. So Shane met Ye at the Tim Pool podcast, the infamous podcast where Ye stormed off 20 minutes into the episode.
Yep. Yeah, I got a message from Tim the day before being like, you should show up tomorrow. And I was like, oh, interesting. Tim had just the day or 2 prior, like he'd done a live broadcast, and while doing that broadcast got a text from our booker, and he didn't say what it was, but you could tell by his face.
Tim's face?
Yeah, like, oh, this is something like, it's probably Kanye. Because he said it was like a guest. So I was like, oh, wow, it's Kanye. So when he reached out to me, I'm like, it's definitely Kanye.
Oh, he couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it was like kind of like a secret.
But you knew.
Deep down, I knew.
So how was it when you got there?
I got there super early because I thought they were going to get there early. And I had already been writing about Ye's possible candidacy. So like, I was just like, my goal was to send it to my editor before Ye showed up. So my dream was like when Ye's on Timcast IRL on the computer behind him will be like my article. That didn't, something like told me just not to finish it that day.
Well, you were right.
I was totally right. Yeah. I was just like, I listened to my gut, which I don't usually do. And I put it away. Yeah. He showed up with his crew. So it was Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos was there. Yeah.
They spent all this money on the private jet for him to get there, and then he just leaves so quickly. What was Tim's reaction behind the scenes?
Honestly, so I'll back up to like where Ye walks off. Like probably most people watching saw that. They saw him saying like, I'm going to walk off. He threatened to walk off.
He said it multiple times.
And if you know Ye, you know the second he says something like that, he's probably going to walk off.
I feel like Tim didn't believe him.
Yeah, probably not. Although we have a history of rappers walking off the show or almost walking off the show. Like we had R.A. the Rugged Man on. Like that was, I guess, a year ago. He didn't walk off, but he like slapped the microphone.
Maybe rappers don't like Maryland, like you said.
Yeah, maybe. But we have had good experiences with rappers. We've had Bryson Gray on. I was on with him actually after the Ye article. Yeah.
He's in the Rad America, Make America Great sweatshirt. Okay.
Yep. Who actually just interviewed Ali Alexander yesterday. But yeah, so you heard him saying like, I don't want to do another Lex Friedman interview because they just like immediately talked about it. Went from like the Mar-a-Lago Thanksgiving trip.
Tim seemed like he had his intention set on talking about Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
Like that's what Tim wanted to talk about. It seemed like Ye had his mind set on talking about other things. He wanted to talk about how his bank accounts got froze.
For sure. And I didn't want to hear about it. But for Tim's defense, though, they did spend an hour talking about that first article leading up to going live, the Mar-a-Lago one.
So at that point, Ye probably was over it.
Maybe, but like it was like when you do that show, you show up, you go like an hour early and do like a pre-show. You talk about what you're going to do. You try not to give everything away. And then you just go with the article you're leading with. But I think he'd already had enough, clearly. And then he was feeling that like Lex Friedman vibe. And he was like, I'm done. I
didn't think Tim was giving a Lex Friedman vibe, but I think Tim wanted to kind of debate.
I think by Lex Friedman vibe, I just mean like he was like not willing to have that whole debate about the Jewish media again in the ways that they were trying to have that debate. And like I didn't really like the Lex Friedman interview at all. I thought Lex handled it very poorly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was trash. Like I like Lex Friedman.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, it was trash. He took it very personally. I like Lex.
I've never seen a Lex Friedman podcast besides Ye's. So.
Yeah, I think Lex means well. He obviously has a good heart, and he's like, I like his idea of like love and positivity. Because I agree with all that.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I try.
Really?
Yeah.
I try, but I fail.
Yeah, no, I try. I have kids. I have to fucking fake it. But my problem with that interview is he was taking things way too personally.
You think?
Lex was for sure.
Don't you think he had pressure though from the Jewish community?
I don't give a fuck. I'm Jewish. Like I didn't feel pressure from anybody. Right. Like I don't care. You can't be taking things personally. He might have been the
wrong Jewish person to do the interview.
Everyone was the wrong person to do the interview at that time.
I don't think Ye and Lex vibed at all.
I don't think Tim was going the same route, but they were getting to the same conversation. And it felt probably I'm just projecting onto Ye, but he probably felt like I'm just rehashing this now.
He had went on so many podcasts. He was sick of saying sorry and he was sick of explaining himself. So by the time he got to Tim's, his mind was set on, I want to talk about the bank accounts.
Right. Because that was fresh in his mind.
Tim kept trying to like backtrack and talk about, he wanted to stay on topic.
And they could have, but like Tim also knows like his audience might not know all those things. So he's trying to like do that in a way where it's like, I can talk about these subjects, but like, me as someone who's watched probably every interview with Ye, I'm like, this is just, he's not going to want to rehash certain things. And we should probably,
why weren't you in the back, like kind of like nugging, telling Tim like, shut the fuck up?
Oh man, no, I don't know. Actually Tim did say on IRL, I was on IRL with him when we were in Phoenix, and he did say something like super nice. He was like, if I knew at that point how much I knew about Ye, he would have set up his chair and then given it to me to do the interview.
Thanks now, Tim.
Yeah, but honestly, I would have rather have been on how I did it. Like I'm way more comfortable like just being a fly on the wall and writing a story and taking my time and like stuff like that. So yeah, it would have been amazing to do it like that, but I don't think I would have been as comfortable as I would have been, as I was like with him and writing.
So you end up meeting him backstage after he storms up. Then this was your big moment. You walk up to Ye.
Yeah. So he walked right off. I knew exactly where he would be. It was funny. I don't know if I wrote this in the article or not, but it was like, I was with Ye like right where Tim hired me like 2 years prior. So it was just like, that was a crazy moment in my life. I was like, this is a weird, like powerful place right here in this kitchen. And I just walked right up to him and I was just like, hey man, I believe in you. I believe in you, and I think you should go back upstairs to the studio and tell everyone else why they should believe in you. And you saw a look in his eyes. He was like, nah. Like I think he appreciated that I came up to him with the positivity of like,
maybe you are positive. I would never do that.
I try to be. I mean, I'm like, I toggle back and forth between
crazy that you had confidence
joy.
to give someone a compliment like Ye.
Yeah, he's the only person in like the celebrity world that I would care to meet. There's no one. I don't give a fuck about celebrities, but like him, he's been so important to me since College Dropout, and I've constantly defended him.
So you kind of knew what you're going to say to him then when he...
Yeah, I've had that imaginary conversation in my head for years.
Okay, you planned it.
But it was different because it was a different situation. So I was definitely tweaking that because it was like, oh, now he's running for president. So I'm talking about his campaign and stuff. But I've always thought about like, oh, what are the ththings I want to say? But I did get to say almost everything in those 10 minutes. Like I said a lot of shit because we moved from like the talk about the campaign and like, him basically saying I'm not going back upstairs to me just being like, well, let's talk about music real quick. I got you here. And they were about to leave. So it was probably 10 minutes of me being like, I thought he would be happy to talk about his opera, the Mary opera. And there's a moment in that opera that is one of my favorite bits of music from him that's never been used anywhere else. It's amazing. It's like an amazing chant, kind of like an early Sunday service thing.
Okay.
And we brought it up on YouTube and I was just like, this is it. Like, I love this. And I was like, if you could like release this or something like in an actual format, because there's just like shitty videos of it on YouTube.
I'm reacting. You just can't see my face.
I love it.
By the way.
No, I love it. I'm like searching the mask.
I know
for,
you're kind
for
of
body
like,
language.
I feel
like,
the
where do I
energy. I'm
look?
like, I'm smiling under the mask.
I can see it. And then
He did want to talk about music.
Yeah.
I always feel like artists like don't want to talk about.
He actually told me to pull it up on YouTube.
Oh, actually, you know what? Rappers like to listen. Well, let's not call him a rapper. Artists like to listen to their own music in the car.
Yep.
Every artist I know, we have to listen to their music when we get in their car.
Which is what happened in LA, but we'll get there. But I told him, your whole career is like falling out of like the good graces of the public's eye every time, and you always come back. And that's why I like have some type of belief in you. And that's when he was like, he took my like name and number.
That's when he's like, "What's your number?"
Yeah, and then he was like, "Fly to LA." I was like, "All right." Then he bounced.
I mean, that's the best possible outcome.
Yes.
If anyone won that day, it was you.
Yes, I felt very tall. And
While
I was just
Tim
like,
and Luke were upstairs upset, you were down there.
No, that's
They
actually
weren't
funny.
upset.
No, because I hung out that whole night, and because I even tried getting them to come back after they left. I
Okay.
spent like an hour or two with like Cassandra on the phone being like, what can we do to bring him back? Maybe tomorrow, da 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 da. All these ideas, nothing was going to happen. But so then Tim's show finished. That's like a 2-hour thing. He comes downstairs. He's happy. I mean, he's not like, he's in a good mood. We both like just laughed when we saw each other. Like
He
a
wasn't
happy laugh.
mad because the internet
Dude,
was like attacking him.
Nothing phases that guy.
That's good.
No, he was like, it was fun. I obviously wished it went another way.
Also,
Obviously,
that
2
moment
hours.
was like a moment that everyone saw. So
It worked out for everybody.
yeah.
It worked out for me, it worked out for Tim. I mean, I think it was just a good look on everybody. I mean, people probably saw Ye and like, they're like, oh, how dare he can't like.
Most fans are like, imagine meeting Ye and then he just storms off on you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, not phased. Not at all. We were like kind
In
of
a
just
way,
like giddy.
I kind of respected Ye at that point for kind of having boundaries and sticking to them because he was sick of going on all these interviews and saying the same things and repeating the same things.
I think for him, like flying across country is like taking a 20-minute ride for the rest of us. Like it's just nothing for him. So it's just like, I'll just bounce. Like I'm not feeling this and I'm out.
Right.
I snuck in there. I did my thing. And then then like 3 or 4 days later, got the call saying I could go.
So then you're about to board the plane and that's when the infamous InfoWars interview happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the car to the airport. It's happening the entire time.
So are you watching it on your phone?
Yeah. No, because I'm in the car with the driver and I'm like, but my editor Chris is sending me all the quotes. And I'm like, holy shit. And it was seeing just the quotes, I was like, whoa. And
I was watching it live.
Yeah. I think when I was in the airport, I finally had it on and I was watching it. And so like on the drive to the airport, it was like Nazis did some good things, stuff like that. I think the I Love Hitler thing happened when I was in the airport, but then it was like,
I'm getting PTSD.
Yeah.
We don't have to,
No, can I say, I want to say every quote right now.
I've archived every single part of this on my timeline.
It's a crazy day.
Well, they were removing anyone that posted the InfoWars.
InfoWars is obviously Alex Jones, but like by the time I got to the airport, I was feeling like, oh, maybe this isn't going to happen now. Like I'm about to go to the airport. They said it was okay, but like this changed everything, right? Like this
was like the biggest catastrophic moment.
It was an earthquake
in the last year,
seismic,
I would say.
Crazy. And I remember I messaged Tim being like, I feel like I'm flying into a war zone. And he was like, if it's crazy, like you don't have to go. I was like, no, I got to go. But then at the airport, like it felt insane because he's not only saying like the Hitler stuff but he was saying I love Jews, I love Hitler, like blah 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 blah. But then it was even more hilarious / ridiculous because he's talking shit on Tim as I'm sitting in the airport on InfoWars, calling Tim an NPC. As I'm messaging Tim,
did he actually?
Being like, yeah, and I'm like, are you sure this is cool? Because like you're paying, like you're sending me out here.
Well, nothing phases Tim.
But he was like, go for it. And then I was a little reluctant because I was like, because I thought I was going to go out there and just waste time and money because I didn't think he was going to be there. I thought this is like the biggest grenade.
Isn't Tim paying for it?
Yeah, but still. And he told me go and enjoy LA.
Yeah.
I'd never been until that
You need to
week.
face your fears. This isn't a real war.
Yep.
It's InfoWars.
I walked off the plane like at first. I was like, this shit is just not worth it. And I think I have like a weird like self-defeating thing in me.
Yeah, you were self-sabotaging.
Yeah. And I called my wife and she was like, get the fuck on the plane.
Thank God.
Like,
What a cool wife.
Yeah.
I feel like most wives would be like, don't go at all.
Oh God, no. The first gift I ever gave her when we started dating, Twisted Fantasy had come out and I gave her that.
So she's fine with you covering Ye.
Totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's splitting up some couples.
Yeah, well, that's sad for them. But no, he's only made us stronger.
That's good.
No, so she's like, get back on the plane. I did. I flew out. And when I landed, I found out he was in Miami. I was like, okay, so it's definitely not happening.
Dude, what?
Yeah, he had
It's
literally...
not surprising, though.
No, I know. That's why I knew. I was like, it's probably not going to happen. I really wasn't expecting... I didn't expect
Maybe
it.
you could hang out with Nick Fuentes.
That's fine. And I honestly, I was like, I got 10 minutes at the studio and I thought that was enough. I got to say a lot of the things I've always wanted to say.
Right.
So I was like, that's fine. Now I just enjoy LA. But yeah, and then he did come back and then...
So he was in Miami and then he flew back and that's when you got to actually hang out with him.
He was in Miami with Ollie Alexander, Nick.
Is this the Mar-a-Lago dinner?
No. That's before. That was Thanksgiving.
So what was this Miami trip?
I have no idea. But at that trip, I guess he this is like where he started to think about the Star of David swastika thing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And then
are you sure? Because InfoWars is when he posted like the realism symbol.
I think it was after that.
No, it's the night of InfoWars. Trust me, I was documenting it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because
he posted like 24 tweets after InfoWars, and that's when he got banned.
That makes sense because the night of InfoWars is when I flew out, and then he's in Miami that night.
That's exactly when.
Yeah, so that happened, and then he got banned from Twitter, and I just thought he wasn't coming back to LA, and I'm just chilling, and it took like I think a good day of like, shout out to Cassandra, our editor in chief, because she really hustled. She somehow knows everybody.
Really?
And she like hooked it up. She got in touch with Ollie. Ollie, like, shout out to him because he pretty much made it happen.
That's cool.
Like he did, like, they had to like, because obviously there's very little trust between that camp and the media.
I'm honestly surprised that Ye wanted you there, considering he thought that crew was a bunch of NPCs.
I think because I told him exactly like how shit was.
And he loves compliments.
And yeah, and I wanted to give, if I wanted to give him to anybody in that world, it's like him because his music just means everything to me. Right? So that was that. And I think he knew that. And I think he probably had a good idea of like the vision I had for the story. Like I'm not offended by anything. And I don't think you even should have been offended by the things he was saying because I don't think he meant them to be offensive.
I think it's strange that anyone takes anything he says as if it's a personal attack.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of Puritans these days. Like everyone's just easily offended by everything.
A bunch of pilgrims.
They are. And he knows that.
I think we need to toughen up a little bit.
Clearly.
As a society. Clearly. And I think if anything, this is what he's teaching us.
Yeah. So you're saying we should go into the schools and tell them to teach the kids to say, I love Hitler?
Dude, I need a Valium.
Yeah, no, but that's what he's saying is like, you got to crack the code.
I mean, he was trying to say to love everybody.
That's all it was.
Right.
That's all it was. And he really believes Jesus forgives everybody.
Exactly. So he really does live by that.
Yes.
And he wants others to. But the problem is a lot of people have fallen away from Christ. So they're not going to understand. And I read some comments today. And I think I told you I have a guilty pleasure for like deep diving negative comments on Reddit. And I think I was looking I Googled you.
Okay. Oh God. Oh, Media Matters probably came up.
And one of your articles came up and there was it was like a quote and then it was the Hitler thing. And then a lot of people were saying like, how dare Shane Cashman defend someone? We should never forgive our oppressors.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So that was like the main theme. There wasn't many negative ones. No, it was mostly like negative. About.
There's just a few hit pieces on me.
Like they're saying like if someone like rapes you, you shouldn't have to forgive them.
Yeah.
But Ye's saying you should because he thinks that Jesus forgives. So you should forgive
it's a super tough thing to think about. I mean, I do have family that was in the Holocaust. I had family that was hacked to pieces in Russia during the pogroms. Like my grandma's, her family, like they escaped that. So I grew up as like the only Jew in a neighborhood and got beat up for that shit.
You did?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
how do they know you were Jewish?
Right? Oh, this is funny. Because I think a teacher had been talking to my mom. This is elementary school. And they're like, oh, Jewish. Oh, you should come make latkes for Hanukkah every fucking year. So every year, like my mom had to come to my homeroom and make latkes. That was super dope.
So I feel
It's
like
a
the kids
flex.
would love this.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
And you get
no,
more
they
presents.
They didn't. The only kids that liked me were the black kids because we sang the same songs at church about like slavery stuff. Let my people go. That's literally what we were singing. It's the same thing.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people had a problem with Ye's comments because they felt it divided the black and Jewish community.
Yeah, I could see that. But
you know, the Jewish people, black people have been united in the past. So they
Yeah.
felt like this was a division that they didn't want to happen.
yeah, I get it. If you want to take it that route, and a lot of people,
Why
it's
do you
easier.
think I'm green for a reason?
Right, easier. They'll come for you next.
Maybe.
They will come for you next. No one is safe in this world.
Ralph Nader.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I was Green Party forever.
Yeah,
yeah.
you would be.
Right?
That makes sense. I was Ross Perot and Ralph Nader.
Perfect.
I mean, I couldn't vote.
I like Green Party because they had the vampire. Remember, Grandpa, the Munster.
You like villains.
Yes. Yeah.
You're
I don't know
not
what it is.
scared of anyone.
Well, it's how you define a villain. I don't know if I like all villains, but I appreciate people.
People say Ye's in his villain era and he's owning it.
Yeezus was his villain era.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeezus was like his most aggressive, most like the color scheme was villainous. He was making like villainous type theme music.
The fonts were very zigzaggy.
Everything. I mean, he was on a mountain for that tour, right? Like it just seemed, I guess you could say it's also heroic looking, but it was kind of villainous. You know, he was very upset with a lot of things and he kept saying it was all he was rapping about. And he was also like at his most grotesque on Yeezus, like referencing that one Martin character. I forget who it was. Did you ever watch Martin, the show?
No.
Oh man, he references that on so many songs, but in particular, I believe it's in I'm In It. And that's like one of my favorite songs of all time. And that's like, which one? Tommy. Is it Tommy? No, maybe it was Tommy. It was the one that Martin played himself, but it was like almost like an ODB type character. And he was like just a gnarly kind of gross character. And that's like the kind of character that Yeezus became, especially on I'm In It. And that's a song that has like, you know, put my fist in her like a civil rights sign. You know, and the snare.
That's a good lyric.
That's a great lyric. And the snare of that song is a dog barking, you know? So it's like super, to me, that's how I felt at least.
See, I feel like St. Pablo was the era where he was really upset about things because that's when he started vocalizing how he wanted like out of the Matrix.
It was a different type of upset for Life of Pablo for me.
He was sick of it. He was fed up.
It's funny though, because like Life of Pablo is also saturated with the imagery of like the happiness at Madison Square Garden. Right. And like the happy, laughing, jumping up and down, Kid Cudi, Pusha. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's a giant
those
album.
Iconic images.
You know,
they were so happy.
He was still mad on the sidelines, but Yeezus was like swallowed with anger.
Maybe it was the end of the St. Pablo tour though, that he kind of was like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like it definitely didn't. I'm not saying like St. Pablo was happy, but he was also calling Life of Pablo a gospel album. You know, there was something,
they were all
some
hugging.
positivity attached to it.
Yeah, I remember those photos of Kid Cut. They were all in the.
Whereas like Yeezus was like his, it was in response to Twisted Fantasy because he said Twisted Fantasy was an apology for the Taylor Swift thing. So I'm going to make the perfect like pop record, which he did.
Right.
And then he was mad about that. So his like way of getting back at himself and Twisted Fantasy was making Yeezus, which is like the exact opposite, completely stark, very minimal. It's very abrasive. So yeah, in my mind, I just see it. And he starts wearing the mask at that point.
I think that's a great justification for Ye's villain era to kind of distract from what's happening now, because I think most people, especially the lamestream media, would probably disagree.
Of course.
And say that now is like the worst era and they're waiting for him to his redemption arc.
Right. Because they don't get it.
Because they're not actually looking at Ye as a performative artist and walking through the discography.
It's performative art with a lot of stuff he's saying. And I'm not saying he means the I Love Hitler thing like the way
if he said it in a song, there would have been no consequences.
Right. How
he
dare
literally
you say
said,
interview.
"I've thought about killing you," and nobody cared.
They didn't care. They made fun of him around that time because he was mentally ill. I mean, he was saying he was bipolar, and they were making fun of that. You know, but for me now, it's like he's like in his absolute Christ-like era to people in like the media or just most everyone.
Well, it's the godless media.
They're like the Romans now going after him. So he's saying things that are God-based. That's why I told him probably, I think it was like the first 30 minutes of us talking in LA.
This is in LA. Okay.
And this is in LA. It's like, and this is like when I'm on the sidelines in the headquarters while Gavin McGinnis is interviewing him.
Oh, I hated that interview.
I'm listening to that whole thing. Yeah, I don't think Ye liked it either.
Really?
Yeah, because he was like, he said something to me about, he was willing to do, talking about Gavin, Ye said, and I like Gavin, but
That was
like,
the first time I like publicly trashed one of Ye's ideas. I trashed that interview.
see, the one thing I liked about it was the look of like Ye sitting with the hand on the Bible thing that he was doing in InfoWars too. It just, there was like a kind of like super gangster look to that.
I didn't mind the hand on the Bible. I just felt like I didn't like that whole idea of saving Ye. Wasn't he even like a bow tie? And then the cinder blocks bothered me.
I don't think Ye knew that it was going to be called Saving Ye until afterwards, right? As far as I can
didn't feel
tell,
like the conversation was productive. I felt
Right.
like InfoWars was the peak, and it could have just like stopped there, and then
For
maybe
sure.
he should have done a more elevated interview.
what Ye told me was like, I guess he was offended that Gavin was willing to do like the gay voice and other voices, but like, you won't do the black voice.
He was like trying to make Ye homophobic. I remember
Yeah.
a lot of people were in my DMs saying,
Right.
Gavin's wanting Ye to be homophobic, and Ye's
Right.
actually not giving in. And then it gave some fans a little like
Right.
leak of hope, being like, oh, well, at least he's not homophobic.
I think Gavin went out there with good intentions though.
I liked when Gavin was driving in the car.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
The hotel part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really do think he went out there with the good intentions like Lex did.
I actually don't know anything about these people. I didn't know
Right.
Lex Friedman. I didn't know Gavin.
Right.
So my opinions are not coming from like some like biased political thing. Just when I was watching the Gavin interview, it wasn't it for me.
I should say, for those who don't know, like Gavin McGinnis is known now as like the Proud Boys because he founded that, but he started Vice. Like he started Vice.
Right.
And, you know, I don't follow him much these days for no reason other than I'm just fucking busy. But like, I appreciate what he does. And Lex, I don't know where that robot came from, like who made him, like where he is, what laboratory he was built in.
Or something?
He's really smart. He's like a MIT guy. The reason I'm mad with Lex is like, if you go and listen to the Ray Kurzweil interview, I just don't like the idea of talking about they love the idea of the Neuralink, which I really detest. I don't like the idea of
I
like
read that in your article.
upgrading and uploading ourselves into the computers and becoming immortal. To me, that's just gross.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It will happen.
You believe that?
Absolutely going to happen.
That's your psychotic optimism.
It will happen.
It's coming out.
But that's not. But I'm not optimistic about it. Like I think that's a very bad route to go. I'm a Luddite. I don't think
it's going to happen in
computers.
our lifetime.
I don't know. I think it could.
Oh, you're worried about future generations.
Yeah, I'm worried about my kids. I'm worried about my kid telling me he wants to be immortal when he's like 15 and he's going to like fucking upload his shit to a USB drive.
In sixth grade, we read that book, Tuck Everlasting.
I only ever read that book.
Yeah, it was about being immortal.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Remember someone peed on the book and it smelled?
In
And
protest?
you know how like they would hand the books out? There was one book that had pee on it.
Oh,
and like
man.
no one wanted to get that one.
Did you know who peed on it? That's hilarious. No, with Lex though, I don't like how they talked about Neuralink and needing that kind of like future.
Does Lex is he pushing for it?
I think he's very optimistic about it. And
Is Ye?
I don't think Ye is, no, because it's
Doesn't
very
Ye want to like
anti-God.
die and go to heaven?
It's anti-God, it's anti-human, it's
Right.
anti-nature. And I don't agree with that. Like,
Have you found God?
have I found God? Yeah, I'm on a path. Like I was Jewish because I was told to be. By my mom. My dad's Catholic.
Yeah,
and like they
but
agreed
the
on
mother.
this. Yeah, right. So like you're doing that, and I went to synagogue as a kid because I could watch TRL there because I didn't have like a cable at home.
Cool.
And that was dope. And then I had my bar mitzvah and then just kind of like didn't care anymore. And then was like militantly atheist. And then I married a Christian. And like, well, we dated for a long time. We would just debate back and forth. And I don't know what to consider myself. I really don't like using like cables.
You're given agnostic.
Yeah, I'm beyond that though. I'd say like I enjoy going to church.
You're on a
like,
soul journey.
yeah, I am on something. Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. Like,
Well, people say when they meet Ye, they find God.
Well,
I've heard it from multiple people.
yeah, I mean, I've been on this like 2-year thing. So it was like, and I told this to Ye, and I think it's in the story where I'm like, this is a really weird time to be with you because like I have been going to church, like, which is like, my mom is not into that.
Are you
right?
only going because you have kids?
It's part of it for sure. I want them to have some type of like center, some moral center
Right.
that I think is lost in a lot of society. And like, I don't want them to know at this point how conflicted I've always been. So I'm just, bringing him, and I really enjoy sitting in a church, but it's a really small, old church, and it just, I love the Sunday service stuff. I love hearing the music and like
Right.
high ceilings and the sunlight coming through the windows and just looking at a book and reading these words together. I enjoy
It's kind
that.
of nice to have some type of community now when we're so isolated on our phones all the time.
Yeah, it's very nice. I love not being on the phones for
Right.
just that 2 hours or whatever. I love, thinking about like these ideas and these words and finding some type of solace in them and just navigating them however I am and trying to apply that to my life, especially like I've got fucked up anxiety and like it kind of like calms me down. Just like
Does
look
it
at
help?
Yes.
No,
yeah.
I really do. I need to find a church. I really do need to find one out here. I
Yeah.
always go to my hometown one because
Right.
like I know that one.
Yeah, I do find some calmness to it. And I like reaching out to like the pastor just with questions. Like, I don't know how to pray. I don't know what any of that really means. And
I grew up Catholic, so I have a
Right.
ton of guilt.
right. Yeah. So you're really fucked up.
So my anxiety is through the roof.
Yeah, no, my dad's Catholic too. And since my mom's Jewish, we're like, I'm just made of guilt. Like, it's like, that's all I am.
Right.
I'm mostly just guilt on top of a skeleton.
So what did Ye say when you told him that it was an interesting time? Was he happy you were going to church?
Yeah, I podcast for like 2 years called Ready Slow, where I talked to my one friend just about that mostly, about like this weird journey I'm on. He's like a Baptist in Atlanta.
I think a lot of people can relate to you because I think a lot of us were like agnostic and kind of leaning away and kind of like nihilistic.
Yeah.
And now there is kind of this movement where Christianity and other religions are kind of becoming relevant and cool again.
Yeah,
Not
no.
that it needs to be an issue of relevance, but
Right.
Ye definitely made it cool with Sunday service.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I made a point of reviewing the gospel album for Pitchfork, that website, the music review site.
Of course.
Right. So I started to hate Pitchfork because of the way they dealt with Kanye, because forever it was like they will write a think piece about a 1 sentence tweet that he would send out. And like they would.
So they're like as bad as the Rolling Stone now.
Yeah, they're worse because they just ignore it completely. I bet if
don't
you go
know.
on their website right now, there's nothing about anything with him in the past month.
Maybe that's better than Rolling Stone putting out a new hit piece every week.
Yeah. Oh, it's lame. I mean, he's keeping people employed. That's nice.
He's
it's like
a
a good
money
president
maker.
making jobs.
Totally.
But I remember my goal when that album came out was I'm going to make Pitchfork have a positive review for Ye after years of like just hating him, because that's post Red Hat days and stuff. So they allowed me to write it. The editor fucking butchered that piece, and that was the last freelance article I ever wrote because I fucking hated working for Pitchfork. They were the worst editors I've ever dealt with in my life.
Just too opinionated and biased.
He was a piece of shit. He told me to write in the article that Ye was a supposed artist.
That's the weirdest thing I've
I'm like,
ever.
I am not saying that. Ye is probably going to read this article.
That doesn't make sense.
So I'm not putting that in. So I had to make some concessions in just like word length, because I definitely handed in a very long article. They did allow me to write a positive review, but they don't let the writer determine the score. The editors in the room do. And they gave it a decent score. It was like a 7. Should have been a 10, because this is amazing. I love that record. But like in terms of like, that was definitely something where I was like, I think I need to go like listen to more gospel, because it really moved me. And leading up to that, I had already been obsessed with something called sacred harp singing, which is like this old, I forget if it's Baptist. It's Baptist and it's in Alabama. It's also from Ireland originally.
Okay.
And it's like people sing, they sit in a square, and it's called singing in shape notes. You know about that?
No.
It's like, they kind of just bark notes.
That sounds amazing.
Oh my God, it's amazing. So
Kind of like Kundalini yoga, where they're like,
I don't know about that, but you probably, yeah, it does look like that. Yeah, because there's some words, but it's usually just
you
notes.
can kind of invite spirits into you if you do that.
Yeah.
Anytime I've done Kundalini in the past, and I know I need like find God. You're not supposed to do yoga if you're like a true Christian. But
Is that what they say?
a few years, yeah.
Dang.
Some believe that because
Whoa.
you're opening yourself up
Okay.
to like spirits, which could
right.
be angels or demons.
Right. Yeah.
But anytime I did Kundalini, I would always shed a single tear. Like there's something about the chanting.
I love the chanting.
I think they also don't like you doing yoga because they think you're becoming your own God when you're supposed to worship God.
Interesting. I feel like you could also say you're lying prostrate to God in yoga. Oh, there's something to that.
Some of the worst people I've met in LA are yoga instructors.
I don't doubt that. Yeah. But like, in terms of chanting, what is that? that New Zealand warrior chant? You ever seen those things?
I know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God. I'll have to send you a clip of it. It's very moving. It makes you want to cry. So anyway, I sent like Ye that sacred harp stuff because when I got to meet him, but
did he like it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That was like one of the first things he like made me text him, that and like a Thomas Sowell video.
Okay,
someone
cool.
I really like. That was kind of surprised he didn't know about, because I know he was friendly with Candace, and Candace loves Thomas Sowell.
Are Candace and Ye still good?
I have no idea.
He did. Okay.
I heard maybe not just on the internet but I don't know, because maybe it was on your page. He unfollowed her or something.
No, I think it was that he said he wants Candace Owens to be his running mate, but doesn't know because she's controlled by Ben Shapiro at Daily Wire.
Yeah, I loved that. The one quote he gave me was like, "If they can see you, you're being told what to say." And I was like, "Whoa."
Is that why he's missing?
Nah. I think with him and Candace is just he's upset that he probably expected her to come to bat for him.
I feel like she came to bat for him a lot. She defended him in February when Ye accused Kim of kidnapping the kids.
Yeah.
And then she defended him with the White Lives Matter shirt. Although some people thought she was using Ye for promotion for her documentary.
Yeah.
But I really thought Ye was just inspired by her.
Yeah.
And how he always said he likes how she articulates. What did he tweet? I like the way Candace Owens thinks.
Yeah.
But I thought Candace was put in a tough position because her boss is Jewish. It's a network. She's being told she obviously can't get on there and defend Ye. But
yeah.
that doesn't mean she's not secretly texting him like, we're cool.
If you're like in the, on the political spectrum where these days the quote unquote right, whatever that means, is pro free speech, then you should allow for tough conversations on your platform despite how you feel.
They don't really mean it.
Well, clearly, because that wasn't allowed.
And they don't even want you there.
You could say other things. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but I feel like I'm not allowed. But like the thing that's interesting to me is I've seen some defenses of Andrew Tate from that camp.
What?
And again, I don't know anything about Tate.
From Daily Wire?
I think so, yeah. Like Shapiro it wasn't like a full-on defense, but
it's weird.
They were being very lenient in a way they weren't allowing
People love
Ye.
to pick and choose who they're lenient about.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate that. I would prefer that, we just all have difficult conversations.
I tried having a difficult conversation about Andrew Tate on my page, and it was a shit show. And
Really?
then I was like, you know what? I'm going to close this chapter.
I did a really interesting, complicated show recently with Tim and Eliza Blue. And Eliza is like an advocate for survivors and talking with, supposed survivors of Tate.
Eliza's the one that apparently said Ye reached out to her and said he supports human trafficking.
Yes, I put them together.
You did?
Actually, yeah.
Okay, because when I posted that, I was getting also a lot of weird pushback saying that Eliza made that up.
Yeah, now that like her and I are like friendly online. Well, I want to say real quick, like we had that complicated conversation about Tate and everything on IRL, and it ended with great. We could all have our opinions, have our skepticism and all that stuff, and it ended really well. So like I love those types of really complicated conversations. I also I know there's after that I'm tagged in a ton of shit online where it's like people who hate Eliza or they don't believe her, and I honestly don't know yet.
Oh, so you guys don't know each other. Well, you just met Ira.
I just met her. I've been following her for a while.
People were saying that she made up the thing about Ye, but a lot of Ye.
Oh, interesting.
That's what because people don't want to believe anything anymore. People don't even believe he's alive. They wanted me to ask you tonight, is Ye a clone?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Well, I haven't seen him in a few weeks, but I don't think so.
But Shane hasn't seen him
That's right, of course.
Before Christmas.
Of course,
Does Shane have a pic of him post Christmas? They're like, because I think he got cloned in that window.
It's crazy. You can spin out of control. It remains to be seen.
Well, there's a music video where Ye's like showing, I forget which one, where he's like was it Stronger? Where he's like getting cloned?
Yeah.
So
he's kind of like the 50 Cent
like
video.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. I think there's clones out there.
Do you believe in clones?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. Katy Perry's a clone.
Huh.
You didn't see that video?
Which one?
With the eyes?
Roland made videos, our camera guy.
She's a clone, yo. You don't think so?
He would know. Well, I used to be a Katy Perry impersonator. So I met her. And
That's
Roland
amazing.
Which video did you shoot? Teenage Dream?
I shot videos with Glenn Ballard that helped her get signed to her first record deal.
Yo, Teenage Dream.
That's how we met.
Oh, really?
I was a Katy Perry impersonator.
Oh, wow. What's old?
And Roland was at a party at Capitol Records, and I was like, they couldn't afford the real Katy, so they hired me, the Wish Katy.
No.
And then we met.
That's incredible.
Because they invited like anyone that had worked with her.
Wow.
So don't you ever come for fucking Katy Perry, but you know what? She might be a clone. Look, I was her clone for the party.
That's amazing. Teenage Dream is one of the best pop songs ever written. I love that song. That song is almost perfect. I love that.
Interesting.
I think that it was funny because Chris and I, my editor, were talking earlier about pop songs. I was saying how much I also love like Miley Cyrus's "Party in the USA." Great pop song. Great pop song.
I'm more of a Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. I don't really know anything about Katy other than her being a clone.
Well, I was her stand-in during the Prism tour, and
shit.
I was standing. Being a stand-in is the worst job in the world. You're literally, and I'm ADHD, so you have to just stand in one place, like make sure Katy, and they call you Katy, which is weird.
Yeah,
so
that's weird.
So you're stripped of your identity.
Yes.
And then you're sitting there for 8 hours, and then she finally comes out, and like you, thinking about what you're gonna say to Ye.
Yeah.
She comes out, and I just go, twinsies. And she goes,
you're only confirming.
and it was so weird.
You're confirming for me that they're clones because you're just like
she had no personality.
a gateway drug to the clone.
It was also
standing in
cringy
for
that I
her.
said twinsies.
I like that. I feel like she would like that.
That was my positivity.
I feel like she would like
See,
that.
this is why I'm jaded.
Yeah.
It's because of people like Katy Perry that I have a bad personality now. She ruined my life.
I don't know much about her, and although I love that one song, but no, there's that video of her eye like is like closed, and she like taps her head like there's a button in her skull to open the eye.
She could have just had a weird eyelash
People
malfunction.
said that, but one of my best friends is like a really awesome makeup artist, and she was like, that is absolutely not what happened. So the defense was like, it was makeup.
Listen, here's the thing. I want to believe you. I hope you're right.
You should believe me.
I want to believe in the
You
magic. I
should
want to
believe
believe
me.
there's clones.
There
it makes
are.
life more interesting. If
Yeah.
people are just clones, then it's like we don't have to have as much accountability.
Yeah. Well, no, you should be scared of the clones because they're created by the government. And
Right, but
they're
it's like, I don't
taking
think-
the real one out and then replacing you with a clone, and you don't know who's a clone or not.
But you would know if you were a clone.
I don't know. I might be just like we might be in some far off future where the computer and technology is so good that I've just been uploaded with things that make me feel like I'm not a clone, but I could be a clone.
Our phones die quickly.
Yeah.
You really think they can figure out technology that clones people if they can't even keep our phone alive for like 7 hours?
I don't think they give us everything. I think they've got crazy. They had heart attack guns to kill people. The CIA.
Who do you think's cloning people? Like Nancy Pelosi?
No, she's a clone. Come on, clearly. No, she's a rotting clone. No, I think there's probably some government agency out there that clones people.
Possibly.
Nah, I think it's true. The government.
Do you believe what you're saying right now? I can't tell if this is a bit.
I don't know either. No, I do
Yeah.
believe in it. I actually do believe in it, and this is why.
And it's hard with like the rose-colored glasses on. Like I can't really see you.
This is why though. Because we know our government has done crazy shit like MK Ultra or Tuskegee.
Harley Pasternak.
Right. So unfortunately, when you know that certain things are Operation Northwoods, where they literally, you know about that, like they went to JFK, this is declassified now, and said, we want to start a war with Cuba. So we're going to kill our own citizens. We're going to bomb a plane, shoot some people. We'll blame it on Cuba, get into a sweet little war. JFK was like
strategy.
Yeah, exactly. JFK said no, that's insane. He fired that guy, and he was so.
That's where the whole conspiracy theory started. Was JFK? That's where the word kind of got it.
Exactly.
That's when its inception.
They created that phrase to discredit anyone who could question the establishment, and people are very afraid of being called a conspiracy theorist. Like one of those hit pieces about me from Media Matters. The best website on the internet is like they call me a conspiracy theorist.
They call me a conspiracy theorist. I like being a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a sexy title. Yeah,
it's exciting.
Hot. Yeah, it's in now. It's in. But like, I don't give a fuck what they think. Because
anytime people try to insult me, they always use conspiracy.
They're just.
And I'm only 1 foot in the conspiracy, and I'm 1 foot out. Like I was telling you earlier, like my mom's CNN, my dad's Fox, and my brother's QAnon.
Right.
And I kind of just.
You're navigating all of
that.
it. Yeah, as you should.
My brother's really deep into the conspiracies.
So I'm not like into the QAnon stuff so much.
Well, he doesn't believe QAnon. After Trump lost, he was like, I got duped.
Oh, that's funny because I know QAnon people who think this is all part of the plan still.
Oh, no, he got out, but now he believes the NFL is rigged. And he like anything with 333 or 33, like, Ye, he's all into like gematria, and Ye's number is 33. When Ye was Kanye West, his gematria number was 33.
Interesting.
Once Ye lost all of his money is when he changed his name to Ye. So my brother believes like 33 is like the Illuminati number.
Oh, wow.
So when Ye changed his name, that's why he's like fallen out of the Matrix eyes. So that's like his theory.
So like for me, but like if you know those unfortunate events in our past, like Northwoods and MK Ultra and Operation Midnight Climax, whatever, you're like, you're in an unfortunate, unhealthy position to then think, well, anything's possible. So do I believe it's really happening right now? I can't say, but I think it's very, very possible.
It's annoying that they don't teach us this stuff. This is the stuff I'd want to learn in school.
Yeah, well, of course. If you knew that, they would be breeding anti-establishment kids, and that's the last thing they want, because how dare you question anything? Like, if anything, if the last few years taught you anything, it was like, you are a bad person for questioning anything.
It's so weird because in the 90s, the people that were like the rebels were the ones that were like, fuck the government.
Right.
And now the people that are like in the cool are the people that are like, listen to everything the government says.
It's insane.
There's like no anarchists anymore.
Insane. Oh, there's anarchists.
Well, they are, but they make anarchists seem like they're losers. Like that's the narrative they spin.
Yeah, they've pushed anarchists to like the right leaning. There's left leaning anarchists. There's right leaning anarchists. You know, like there's people like Michael Malice, who's an anarchist, but like non-violent anarchist. I'm not so much into I like the idea of anarchy on like a bad day, like not in a non-violent way, but like. I to me, sometimes I feel like the idea of anarchy just means there's going to be more rules with more people creating rules. So it's like a tyranny of rules, and I don't like rules. So
same.
I'm trying to not go into the rule route.
All right, you've talked me out of anarchy.
Well, let's see how the rest of this interview goes.
Let's get back to Ye. What, like, when you talk, first of all, people want to know, like, how does he smell?
I don't know if I even
like. Was there a cologne or
no? There was no cologne. I don't think there was a smell.
10 people.
Interesting.
Asked that. You guys, y'all are weirdos, and I hate the word smell.
That's a weird. It was like they wanted like an answer.
I think so I could
like fulfill some fetish.
Exactly,
they have.
It's a fetish.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have. I could say lavender, but it's not true.
Let's go with lavender.
Yeah, we'll say lavender.
I actually like that. That makes sense.
It makes good for headaches. You know? Yeah. So, but nah, there was no smell. There was none of that.
Also, like, how does Ye never get a cold?
I don't know.
He goes so hard. I feel like the guy's like never on an antibiotic.
Yeah. I mean, he is like sleepless. Like he worked so much. How does it not catch up to 2 days I was with him? I was tired and sick at the end. I was like, how does he maintain this?
I've gotten a sinus infection and COVID like 3 times since the page started because of Ye. Like I don't sleep. And
the stress.
I'm on his sleep schedule.
But this is why I think he dips out every few months, you know, like when he disappears, it's him just being like,
he's just
I've had
sleeping.
Enough. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to get married perhaps and do my thing. And I'll come back and throw some more grenades when I'm ready.
Yeah. We were worried. We're like, we might not have anything to talk about. So thank God Ye got married today, allegedly.
Yeah. Shout out to Ye for getting married. Thanks you.
Did you know he was getting married?
No.
Did anyone know?
I'm sure, people closest to him probably knew, I think Nick Fuentes said something today on Telegraph, whatever that.
Well, they're all going to say they knew now, but no one was like hinting to it.
Yeah, well, if anyone would have known it would have been Nick, because Nick has been, I guess, the closest to him the whole time. Right. But in retrospect, it's funny because when I was with him the second day, he was making those songs and I'm sitting with him and the one song was Sensory Overload.
I woke up to I can't do this anymore text.
Yeah. Which is funny because... like I was with him, I think, when he was getting those texts. Or I was probably with him the day after I got those texts. I don't know who it was, honestly.
It was about Juliana Nalu. Yeah. After he went on InfoWars, she tweeted something and it was basically like, I'm done with this or I'm over it.
Wow. So when he did that song, like I knew it was about an ex-girlfriend. People were saying they thought about Kim, but I think I was pretty sure it was about ex-girlfriend.
Kim and him were done over a year ago.
Right.
The media reported it was about Kim because they want to make every single thing about Kim.
They get more clicks when they use her name. But like, the song title was Sensory Overload. To me, I was just like, it's a censorship thing. You know, it only made sense.
That's what most people would have thought.
When we found out Bianca's name. No, she sounds rad.
Dude, honestly, like, because I was so obsessed with the Kanye era, but
really?
I think this is my favorite one.
This is the one.
This girl shares his vision.
I'm like his grandfather right now. Like, this is the one.
I really hope it's for real because I feel like she's not only hot and
she's
his
beautiful
type,
and she's wicked smart.
Smart and has like a hot accent.
And she's an architect.
They have
of
the
all
same
things.
exact vision for the future.
Yeah.
The primitive futurism. I mean, on Drink Champs way back, he was talking about how he wants to. This is when I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can like really keep up with Ye because he was talking about going into every restaurant and removing lights and only having skylights and like he wanted to like change electricity and then that's when I was like
it's because he's so obsessed and inspired with James Turrell and the skylights
and this girl's style is like very similar. So
the Joshua Tree house is like a Turrell thing.
Once I saw them link up today, it was the first time that I was like, holy shit, maybe Ye would have a chance at maybe not winning the presidency, but doing really well.
Yes. Imagine a
And
first
starting
lady
a
architect.
movement.
Incredible.
Well, he wants to change the entire country. He wants all of our buildings to change. He wants the way we do things to change, the way we get water.
Well, she calls herself a primitive futurist, right?
Right, I love
and
that.
so like the futurists, like that art movement in Italy, they were all about like destroying to rebuild. And like, so that art form, the futurist art form was like all about movement. And it was to like deconstruct what the futurists thought was like the stale institutions of like museums and like the classical statues. So if you look up like futurist art, it's like people with like dogs with like multiple legs because it's showing movement. And it's like very like beautiful. So they're trying to destroy, I think, but
I'm getting
rebuild.
chills.
Good.
Maybe that's what Ye's been doing.
Clearly.
Destroying everything.
Clearly, yeah.
Self-destructing just to rebuild and make it better.
That's what he's always done.
Well,
that's the thing.
Because you've said in the article, like, you don't think America's in a good spot right now.
Obviously.
So what do you think the solution is?
To destroy the shit we've got going right now and
With
bring
like
it
a
back.
bulldozer or like how?
No, by subverting every institution, probably destroying colleges and rebuilding those because the universities are the worst part of this country right now, besides the corporate media, and the government sucks too. So you should probably get rid of all those people. I think we need term limits to get a lot of these people who've been in office forever, like the McConnells and the Pelosi's, gotta go. But then people will argue like, oh, if you get rid of term limits, there's still people who are in the offices who are there forever. So there's something that's got to happen. But like all those institutions need to be completely subverted, gutted, rebuilt. Because I honestly believe in like some type of government. You know, it's like I'm not a full-on anarchist. Like I think we do need some type of small federal thing to like just keep us together. Because I like the idea of this country. You know, I like what it's founded on. I like the idea of the states. You know, and I don't want to have to like worry about different currencies and different rules wherever I'm going to some degree. But I'm just over everything. We are in a really bad place because the institutions have completely robbed students of free thought. And they're teaching them like grotesque, meaningless stuff for the most part.
Well, the college degree meant nothing. I mean, look where I am. I'm sitting here like...
You've made it. You found a way.
I had a 3.9.
You found a way. Yeah, I didn't have that. And I was a professor.
And look at me now.
Yeah.
You did nothing.
Amazing. No.
I spent a lot of money for no reason.
No, the people who still believe in those institutions are just going back into those institutions. And it's like a human centipede of bullshit.
So do you think Donda Academy is going to kind of change the way education is in this country?
It could. That's one way of doing it. You know, there's another, like the Ralston College in Savannah is another thing where they're trying to like take the concept of a college. Hillsdale's another one where like you can still go have these complicated conversations. You can talk about anything, debate. You know, when I was teaching college, I was almost like 10 years, and I just started seeing. I was teaching like poetry and fiction, nonfiction, and English, and I saw students
making $2,000 a semester.
I was working multiple colleges. But
we got to get rid of these universities. They're not paying the professor. Where's the money going?
I don't know. Because there was like at one college, there was 400 professors, 300 of them were adjuncts. The tuition was only going up.
Yeah.
So
it's Nancy Pelosi.
But it's everywhere. There 80% of professors in this country are adjunct professors.
I was a substitute.
Yeah, I was a substitute too. I was a substitute as well for
as far as
years.
I got.
I was a substitute for a long time. But I saw students like self-editing, self-censoring themselves. They felt like they couldn't say certain things or pretend to be certain characters. And I would always be like, you could be anything you want in any art form. All I ask is that you like don't give us like a one-dimensional version of them. So it was like a novel writing class.
It's funny because I feel like fiction and art is like the one place where you get away with saying whatever you want.
No, because that world is fucked up too.
You can hide behind the art form.
No, that world is terrible. Like,
really?
Yeah, like I spent so many years trying to be in the publishing world, doing the whole thing of like you got to get an agent, you got to get like
the middleman is hard. Now they're self-publishing though.
Yeah, and that's what I ended up doing before I was with Tim because I was like, I'll make my own press.
Right.
Fuck these people.
No one wants to go through the publishers.
Well, like they just only allow certain voices now. Like I was literally told like we're not taking on any white straight guys.
I've heard that.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like this is all I do. And I was like, whatever.
Transition.
Yeah, I might have had to, you know. But I at a certain point I just had enough. I couldn't hear anymore. I was like so depressed. I was
you
like,
really did hear that.
All the time. If you go to apply for colleges, this is another thing at the same time.
Because you're not the first person that said that on this podcast.
No, it's not like just like hyperbole.
I had another white writer that said the same thing, and I thought he was just making excuses for maybe like his book sucking.
Right. My book might have sucked also, but like they will literally tell you like we can't take on white straight writers. And the colleges are saying the same thing. Like at that same time, I was trying to apply all these places, SCAD in Savannah, and like.
Do you see why I'm
going
green?
anywhere. Right, you're safer for now.
I'm safe for now.
For now, but like
Right.
at the end of the applications, they'd be like, we're only accepting like these types of people. There was one type of group left out. I was like, fuck.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty. So I got massively depressed.
Well, thankfully, Ye did the White Lives Matter.
Yeah, it made me feel really good.
Yeah, for people like you.
I didn't need to see the shirt to know, but like it was, and like people just got so upset with that shirt for no reason. But I was at that point so over it. Nothing like could offend me anymore. I grew up being beaten up for being a Jew. I'd go to places in like my Jewish circles and I'm not Jewish enough. You go to the Irish circles, you're not Irish enough. And then you get into the college world, I'm just a white guy at that point. So it's like nothing means anything. It doesn't matter. I don't understand why anyone would look at anybody as a race or a gender or sexual preference. It's fucking retarded.
Why do you think Ye wears the mask?
It's part of like his armor.
It's his shield.
Yeah, it deconstructs the face. It's almost, I guess, kind of like a futurist idea in itself, because he's, by eliminating the face, like I was talking to you right now, like you are now reduced to only your words. So that's all he says is like, I am kind of held back, he says, by like the English language. I want to make language as minimal as possible. So he broke it all the way down to that, and the mask kind of helps with that.
But wouldn't that mean that you'd have to articulate better?
I mean, I think he does.
Oh, so you think that by him wearing the mask, he's focused on the words?
He's focused on the words, and the people are focused on the words.
And they're not. Yes, that's exactly it.
It's all.
That's
it is.
exactly it. He even made a comment once saying that he got sick of going on tour and always worried about like his face angles. So then he started wearing the mask because he's like, then I could just concentrate on the art, and it wasn't like a vanity issue.
Right. That's why I keep thinking of like this era is the inverted version of the Yeezus era, because the mask also happened then, and by inverted that means that this is the positive version. For all the shit he's been doing, as crazy as it is now like the superhero to the villain version. And now, even though it seems villainous to a lot of people,
So you think he's Batman?
to some degree, yeah, yeah, I guess he's definitely some type of hero. You know, he's fearless. He has no problems like kind of self-sacrificing in like favor of doing what he thinks is right. It happens, you know, to all the best heroes.
Well, you actually met him. So how did you feel about him once you met him? Because sometimes you're not supposed to meet your heroes.
Yeah. I was worried. Like I was worried I'd be let down. I thought about it. Not at all. No. Like the second I met him in LA, which would be the first time I saw him since Timcast, he immediately saw me, smiled, we dapped, and he said to me like, I was just asking about you. And he was like super warm, very comfortable. And we immediately started talking about art. Like Hieronymus Bosch and degenerate art. Super chill. And we went and sat where the whole Gavin McGinnis thing happened. The first part of the interview took place at that same table, but he had no mask. And I was worried. I was like, am I going to get mask Ye or maskless Ye? I felt like it was an honor to get maskless Ye because I was seeing him. And he could toggle back and forth between the Joker stuff, you know, because he was saying wild stuff that he, I think, also meant, but also just being him and being kind of unguarded. And he made me feel immediately comfortable to say like anything. And even like I was he
literally said, say whatever you want. If you hate me, say it. He said he wants people to exercise. He really does believe in free speech.
Truly does. I was worried that if I even criticized, he'd start going, maybe he'd be mad at me for criticizing. And I'm not saying I criticized, but I had like constructive criticism, because I was like, I told him at one point, if you create a world with like you can only have Christian politicians, and it's, you know, you have what could be blasphemy laws, could a young Ye exist in that world? That's
actually the criticism I had.
Right.
I felt like that was the most impractical idea of the Ye 24 campaign.
I get it, right? And I get like why he's on that mission.
And I get it that the Constitution was rooted in Christianity.
Yeah, but I also believe that God gave free will. Forcing people to be a certain religion just doesn't usually go well. So I don't see how there could be harmony in that future. And he could very well change his ideas. I don't know if he will, but like, and I'm not offended that he thinks that. He's
mercurial. He could change.
I honestly, but I truly felt that was like a concern in my head.
Well, that could limit him to getting votes.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Not everyone in this country is Christian. They come here for religious freedom.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, I felt cool that he let me feel comfortable enough to even say shit like that and then respond and know.
So he wasn't mad at you?
No, I think in that, because that was on the second day probably, when that was just him and I alone for a few hours and like just chilling at like the smallest table, just talking. The mask was
What
on the
was his
table in front of me.
response when you told him that was a concern?
He does that thing where like you probably see in interviews where he just thinks about it and like gives you like that like a soft look, and then being like something like he said, like I think I said it in the story, something he didn't say you have to consider it, but like I have to like really think about how the Bible interprets it or something like that. And I was like, well, I don't know if I said it or not, but my thought was like, we all interpret the Bible so differently, you know?
Right.
How do we determine this? I'm always like very weary about things that could hurt art and expression, you know? And Kanye has always been the person to me is like, no, that's the tantamount art. That's
right.
like the best you could be in terms of offense, you know, but pushing everything, the music, the sounds, everything has been pushed to the limit. And you know, I don't think every art has to be like that. I like a ton of stuff. That's just probably boring to most people. But to me, like the best kind of art is the kind that just burns shit down and changes everything.
Burn everything. Hashtag burn everything.
Hashtag burn everything.
Do you think he has a chance to win?
Yep.
You believe that?
Yes.
Wholeheartedly. You think he can win the entire thing?
Yes.
How?
Because and it's only because of pattern recognition, because every time he's told no, he finds a way to make it a success.
And he does have some time.
So it is very possible to me.
Because he announced his running July 4th, 2020. I remember I was singing Party in the USA at a karaoke party.
Yep,
and Ye
yep.
announced he was running for president.
Yep, perfect song for that.
Yeah, totally. And it was only 4 or 5 months later. So he didn't have much time to really prep. I voted for Ye in 2020.
That's awesome.
So did Stencil.
That's funny. I actually told him I didn't take that campaign very seriously.
I did.
Yeah. I took him seriously. I just thought it was so like
I just was like
haphazard.
I kind of related to your article where it's like, at this point, I think we just need someone radical and revolutionary and eccentric. So I just wrote his name in the ballot. And
good. Well, after like a Trump world where you see someone like everyone mocked Trump, no one thought that could happen. It happened. Anything could happen. I think he does truly have good intentions in mind. You know, even if like we could all disagree with certain things with what he's saying, like I think he truly wants what's best for all of us. We obviously can think different ways about those goals, but he's like determined to make life better. And I don't know. He always, whenever he disappears, he comes back stronger. So
well, people were saying he was a clone and when he went to Japan and then he came back and
wait, oh really?
Yeah, like
good God.
Anytime he disappears, like the media can't wait for him to go away, but then the second he's gone, they can't wait for him to get back.
They don't even wait for him to get back. They make news out of his silence.
Well, I did a video in March where every single day that he was silent, the media had him in a headline every single day for 60 days.
Holy
there
shit.
wasn't a single day that they did not include him in a headline.
They need him.
We need him. America first.
Right.
Yay 24. Well, I think we just need to move past a society that gets offended all the time.
Yeah, through forgiveness.
I'm only offended if people like attack me personally, which happens a lot.
No, that should make you stronger.
I have a right to be offended.
Nah.
But if Ye says something on a podcast, I'm not thinking he's talking to me.
Right.
I feel like that's the difference.
Everyone takes everything he says personally.
I don't
and they
take
have
things
no idea.
celebrities say personally.
Yeah. You shouldn't take anything anyone says personally.
Right. I'm not there yet.
You got to get there.
I don't have
think about it.
therapy or
Like, do you
anything.
remember the movie Highlander where they cut off everyone's heads to get the power?
No.
That's how I feel like when the trolls or the bottom feeders come after me. It just makes me more powerful.
I know what you mean, but I still think like you're allowed to take that personally because it is about you.
It's funny having any amount of platform. Like your page is pretty big. And I'm sure you get a lot of ridiculous messages all the time.
You know what was pissing me off is that like, I told you today, I got called mid, which I was okay with because I looked like shit. And I was thinking they could have called me busted. So like, I'll take mid. But I'll wear the green girl. And someone said to me the other day, oh, she looks just like Khloe Kardashian. And I'm like, even with the mask on, like what? Crazy.
That's crazy. I'm not into the Kardashians.
Me either.
I never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
But like, how does this look like? Why would they?
I don't know.
They just say anyone looks like, it's just so annoying.
Yeah, the way they're comparing Bianca to Kim is ridiculous.
Every single girl that Ye's dated, they've called a lookalike.
It's ridiculous. Kim is not like how she
because
really
Kim
is anyway.
has
She's
tried
like
out every race.
She's a Frankenstein herself.
They called Shane was a black woman. They
Right.
said she was a Kim lookalike. Now
Right.
they're calling Bianca a Kim lookalike.
I think it was you who said like she's more of like an Irina.
She looks more like Irina
Right.
Shayk or Shake if we're
you're
gonna go
right,
there.
and you're right with that. But like, it's ridiculous to even compare.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
People are boring.
Well, they want her in
and
the headlines, like you
they-
said. If
yes.
she's in the headline.
That's all
So
they do.
the last thing right before we started, a really weird article came out, and it was so weird. And we were talking about it. It said Kim Kardashian is not okay with Bianca. I'm just gonna read it.
That can't be. Well, this can't be real. I'm gonna preface this by saying this cannot be real.
Nothing's real.
Now we're talking.
Nothing. I'm like, nothing's real. Nothing matters.
Yes.
Did it ever?
This is my love language.
Nothing's real.
Yeah, I got that tattooed on me when I was 18.
Oh, really? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
What is reality? Okay, the article is. Yeah, because I wasn't sure how you were going to react to Green Girl, but now
I knew Green Girl. I made sure that Chris knew, like when he was my editor coming with me, like I was like, yo, this girl's going to throw on like a green costume. It's going to be rad. And I was like, I'll be upset. It's funny because with Ye, I was like, I want the maskless Ye. But with you, I was like, I need the mask.
Yeah.
That's going to take that as like as a diss, and fuck you guys for thinking that.
Fuck you, Shane, for saying that.
Yeah. And this is the perfect way to end that.
Yeah, the article, you know what, fuck the article. Fuck Kim Kardashian.
No, they're talking about like erections.
We don't even
No, and she didn't like pretty girls.
It's well, fine. We need to read it.
We have to read it
kind of
because
crazy.
like, why?
Do you believe this? Kim Kardashian reportedly doesn't like Kanye West's wife, Bianca Sensory. She hates pretty girls. So then you click on the article and it's like, according to publication sources, their encounters have been far from friendly, with the outlet alleging that Kardashian had suspected Sensory wanted to do more than handle his erections.
Yeah, that sounds like it was written by Kardashian.
I think it was supposed to be elections.
I think Kris Jenner wrote that.
Why would erection be mentioned?
I think we know why.
But why would she be handling erections?
Yeah. I think we know why.
But like she was married to Kim, and this.
I think there was
Am I missing something here?
No.
It says she's pretty and Kim hates pretty girls, an insider says.
This cannot be real. Like, how do they even run that shit?
The fact that like this publication just like gets money to run bullshit all day is crazy.
Yeah, they're the new National Enquirer. And that's the Post, right?
This is Hollywood Unlocked. This is Ye's ex-social media manager, Jason Lee, the one that he said wore too much Balenciaga.
I hate like the anonymous source thing. I hate the
sources
familiar with someone's thinking thing. It means nothing. You can't take it seriously, but I'm sure people will see this. And
sometimes I do have anonymous sources, and
same.
I say it, but I'm always like, guys, I give them like a trigger warning, like I'm gonna do a trust me, bro, but you guys just gotta trust me. Yeah,
no, in the last book I wrote for Timcast, I do like this series there it's called like the Inverted Worlds, like true crime and like dark paranormal shit. I had one source who like, she literally was like, her boyfriend had threatened her, and like he was very violent, and like I had to change her name just for safety's sake, and his name, but like, and I think I probably said that in the book, like why I'm doing this.
Was it fiction?
No, this is real.
Oh, okay.
This is real, like real people in Georgia who wanted to kill me. That was fun.
Damn.
Yeah, I wrote the last two books I wrote, I had death threats. So maybe that's why I'm numb to the bullshit online. I
think when you go through something that crazy, like I've been doxxed like once.
Yeah, I don't think I've been doxxed.
I'm getting less numb to the bullshit.
Yeah, you have to be.
I feel like you're worried about me. Like I'm fine, all right?
I'm not worried about you at all. I think you're gonna be great.
Can we end this? If you guys want to follow Shane Cashman, he has an Instagram account. Yeah,
I'm Shane Cashman everywhere.
The Shane Cashman?
There's another Shane Cashman who was arrested in Florida for breaking and entering, and he stole baseball memorabilia. I'm not that Shane Cashman. I'm the other one.
So it's at Shane Cashman.
I'm at Shane Cashman.
Okay, so where can we catch you on Timcast?
So timcast.com is like the website where we have the newsroom and where my stories are published. And the thing I was just telling you about, like that book series I do called Inverted World, is like serialized. We do a chapter a week when I'm writing those books.
That sounds fun.
And they're narrated and like illustrated, and they got awesome soundscape and music and stuff. So that's that. But I also do like the profiles on people.
Do you have any books we can buy?
Yeah, I got a bunch of books. You can go on to shanecashman.com. You can click like the Vulture House Press and find my books like The Fucking Lunatic, Joyless Kingdom, and then you can go to invertedworldbook.com and find the dark paranormal true crime stuff that I do for Tim Pool.
Yeah, you say you're like this positive guy, but I'm intrigued by your work because it's so much darkness.
Yeah, it's a lot of darkness, but I have to stay.
Poser.
That's good.
No, you've got both.
No, it's true though. I have to like try to stay positive, because like when you get too deep into all that dark shit, like the hookers being murdered in Long Island forever, I've gone down to that like dark, like
Right.
it's hard to get out of it. So I try to detach myself, but like I'm
You
also
have to make it out. And you have kids. You have to be a good
and I'm
example.
like between books right now. So like I wonder if you met me like while I was in the book, I'd probably be like maybe a little more pessimistic or darker. But I'm like
Right.
when I'm in that fucked up world of people like trying to kill me because I'm looking for gold.
Shane's really friendly. Like he's really nice in the DMs. He uses exclamation points. If you guys ever like,
Hell yeah. And I mean that shit. Like,
it
I
seems
love exclamation
authentic
points.
too.
Yeah.
It's not toxic positivity.
Yeah, no, hopefully not. I'm sure
Okay.
some people don't like it.
I'm seriously over this.
No,
I'm just
I
kidding.
want to do another hour. Is that cool? Like, I came all the way from
Shane's
LA.
really, I was worried because I didn't know if writers, sometimes writers like introverted, they don't want to, they're better at putting their words on paper.
Yeah.
Not Shane.
Well,
Shane's
thank
a
you.
great podcast guest.
I appreciate that.
You should have been on Tim's when Ye was there.
Maybe next time.
Do you think there's going to be a next time with Ye?
I think anything's
Do
possible.
you guys text?
We haven't in like 2 or 3 weeks, but there was like a week or 2 of like insane talking back and forth.
Does he have red receipts on?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't think he does.
Did he save your number?
I don't have red receipts on. Oh yeah. There was
Okay,
I know you want to end this, but you would probably like this. There was like a week or 2 of us, like he'd call me rapping and like,
What?
I mean, I would like write like crazy shit. Like we went back and forth with raps and
So he would call you and he'd be like, check this out.
just start rapping. And it was amazing.
So he's still into music.
Oh yeah. Fuck
Everyone's saying he's not.
He's deeply cares about music.
Right.
Obviously.
Everyone's saying he quit music.
That's ridiculous. No, he was like, I saw him make 2 songs in 2 hours.
So there's hope that maybe there's an album coming.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't think he's done?
No way.
Wow.
No way. He's just getting started with the new cycle. That's all this is.
What do you think the new album's going to be?
I don't know. Because I think those one-offs he gave us are probably not like an indicator of what the next album will be.
Right.
You know, I think those are like those types of like B-sides that we know of that like those like unreleased tracks that are really cool, but I have no idea, you know?
What do you think the next era is going to be?
I don't know. Like, I think it's probably going to push further into like the Donda thing, you know, where it's like a collage of all the best stuff. Like, I love Donda, but it's like, it's stark, it's dark, but it's also like maximalist, like Twisted Fantasy was. So I
would
honestly
love
don't
him
know.
to go maximalist because I feel like we've been in the minimal stages
Yeah.
for too long.
It could be. One thing he did say that we kept talking about, I kept referencing St. Pablo. It's like one of my favorite songs. And I love how he raps on it.
Yeah.
And he was like, he might have been joking. He was like, every verse is a St. Pablo verse now. I was like, great, dope.
So
do
he
it.
liked you enough to rap with you.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the second part ends with me alone in the hotel room, just writing
what?
lyrics for that song. So yeah, there was like a few weeks of us just like going back and forth with ideas.
What'd you rap? What were the lyrics that you gave him?
Oh God, I don't remember. He like expressed to me, he was like, I don't care if you think it's bad.
That's cool.
Because like he'd put me on speakerphone in his car and he's telling me, he's rapping and then I'm writing stuff down and he makes me read it like immediately. And then it's like very quiet and like Nick is in the car and then he'll just hear like one word or phrase and then he'll just go on a rant, on a tangent.
So he's practicing. This is great news.
Oh yeah. He's definitely making music. I mean, I didn't hear anything other than those 2. Well, I guess you didn't hear the one song that I like wrote things for that might not ever come out, but you heard Sensory Overload, the Someday We'll All Be Free song. And those 2 songs, like I saw them recorded like in 2 hours time.
That's great to hear that he's still passionate about music. Do you think he's still going to do fashion too?
Yeah, he's gonna do everything. He is literally gonna do everything.
Yeah, people are so like ticking. Everyone's just like impending doom when they hear about Ye because I think it's because all we have right now, whenever he goes off the grid, all we have are like the lamestream media.
They all just sound like the people in the industry is telling him he has to stay in his lane because they don't get it.
I think people are just believing the headlines that he's like missing and that he's done for good, but they're losing hope and forgetting like who Ye is and that he's gonna keep living
They
on.
thought that after Taylor Swift. Look how many cycles we've had since then.
I think people forget the cycles.
Yeah. They want to because they want him to fail because they hate themselves. Because if you're a fan of Ye, you're a fan of yourself.
I love that. That's why I love Ye, not the Kardashians.
Exactly.
When I look at the Kardashians, I see what I'm lacking. When I look at Ye, I'm like, I'm okay like this.
I don't feel lacking with the Kardashians. I feel grateful that I'm not them.
Well, I have small lips.
Well, they probably do too, but they bought theirs.
Well, thanks for our people in the house, Stencil and Roland, running
Thank
our
you
videos.
so much. It was awesome.
I feel like, does anyone else have any questions? Shane wants to talk all night like we're fucking besties at
Yeah,
a slumber
I
party.
will go forever.
He finally found a friend that loves Kanye.
Yeah.
His other friend.
Yeah, my
him,
own editor. No, he loves Kanye, but we go back and forth on certain things with decisions Kanye makes. But that's what's good friendship.
It's good. I mean, I would honestly talk longer too, but we can always do a follow up.
No, I expect this to be totally unedited.
I really don't think much needs to be edited.
Cool. Yeah, I'm okay. Whatever you keep.
What do you think?
Don't
You're the
keep.
editor.
Yeah,
That's
he
fine.
wants everything. Keep everything.
I have to take a bathroom break.
Yeah.
This is the first one I've done without Adderall.
I'm honored.
Maybe I should stay sober. All right, bye.
That was a blast.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, you guys rule.